Welcome back to That Handicapping Show. I'm Claire Novak, joined once again by Frank Angst. Today we're going to take a look at the Peter Pan Stakes Grade 2 mile and an eighth for 3-year-olds at Belmont Park. Frank, earlier in the season you and I were talking about how you could look for a horse to come out of this race and target the Belmont Stakes, get a good trip over the track. These might be some horses who got delayed from making the Derby or didn't want to go in the Preakness. But so we're going to take a look at this field and see if we can dissect, first of all, as a betting race, who we like, but then also who might go on down the road.
Yeah, there's always quite a few good 3-year-olds out there this year, and always quite a few of them that develop a little bit later than some others. So the winner of this, or maybe even some of the top placers we could see in the Belmont, or see more in the summer later on this year.
All right, so 7 horses entered in this race, and the favorite is going to be Tonalist for Christophe Clement. This is a horse who missed the early part of the season with a lung infection, so he's getting the chance to come back in here. A couple others that we're familiar with, Commissioner, who just threw that terrible fit at the Arkansas Derby, ended up getting his bridle off. The Outriders at Oaklawn did a great job of kind of catching him, and Elliott Walden got the bridle back on, but Todd Pletcher said from that incident, really he ran his race before they even left the starting gate. Who are you looking at in here? Because I know you're not going to go with those two, and neither am I.
I looked at the field, and surprisingly, I didn't see a lot of early speed in this field. And Fabulous Kid is one of the few horses that does possess some early foot. I've liked his 2 races. I mean, he's basically led at every call except for the last one in the second race. He figures to improve going this distance again. And even though it's a mile and an eighth this time, I think the fact that it's a 1-turn mile and an eighth, it should be right up his alley.
All right, and I'm going to go with our Caravan. He does carry a high weight of 120 pounds in here. He's the Calder Derby winner. The thing that I like about this horse is he can sit closer up to the early speed. In his other race that he won when he broke his maiden first time out, he did so from a little bit further back with more of a driving run. So he does seem to have either type of style. Michael Dilger, who trains him, said that like several other horses over the winter at Gulfstream, he didn't seem to really favor the speed bias in the track. At that track, he did win at Gulfstream first time out, though, so we know he can. But I think what he's saying, you know, he's basically blaming that on an 8th in the Holy Bull and a 7th in the Fountain of Youth. He did come back and win the Calder Derby nicely, so that's who I'm going to take a look at.
Yeah, I think he'll want to employ the closer to the pace running style in this one, because I don't see a whole lot of speed. Who knows what the track will be like Saturday. On Wednesday, the one day we've had at Belmont this week, it was very speed favoring on the main track. So I'm not sure if that'll hold up, obviously, but it's something to look at. The other horse I kind of considered in here is Matterhorn.
Yeah.
I don't really like the post position for this horse, but I suspect Johnny V will have some time to get him off the rail and angle out, which should more fit his running style. If there was a little more speed in this race, I probably would take Matterhorn. I think you toss that middle race, the optional claimer. But he won his first out, which is always a sign of a talented horse. And then he kind of got back to that level in the Aqueduct race. So I look for him to advance off of that. Like I said, if there was a little more speed in here, I would take him. Maybe if the track's favoring closers on Saturday, he might be a good choice. But for now, I'll make Fabulous Kid my top pick.
All right, and that horse, of course, is a Tappet. Coolmore paid $625,000 for him as a 2-year-old in training, so highly regarded there. And his connections, Todd basically said in the online preview we have at bloodhorse.com, he said, we're impressed by his debut, but then he kind of spent the winter playing catch-up, and when he ran in February, again blaming that speed bias of the track, saying that he thought his last start was a lot better than it looked on paper and hopefully set him up well for this. So
I agree with that. The start at Aqueduct, yeah, I think that was a decent race.
So he's a horse that Frank likes. I'm going to put third. The horse that I put in the middle there is Tonalist. This is a horse who's run against some, horses who were top horses. And hasn't really done anything super wrong. So he's lightly raced, might be one who we could see carry on the rest of the summer because he has a little bit of a foundation, but because of that delay with the lung infection, he only has those 3 starts.
Some more talented Tappets in this field, which we're seeing in every race.
That's right, and I have to give a shout out to I Wish You Well. That horse from the Illinois Derby. Actually kind of just gave a shout out on the show to that horse because I thought the name was cool. The mare's name is Pun. It was clever. I was like, yay, hooray for I Wish You Well. Horse ran third at 22 to something, 22 to 1 or something like that. I mean, not bad. So
name angle can be powerful.
There you go. Continuing to step up in class with I Wish You Well. good luck to everybody this weekend. Thanks to Briss for the PPs. As always, I'm Claire. Frank, next week, coming to you from the Preakness Stakes. Thanks for watching the Handicapping Show.